I'm Amber Davies and welcome to Call to Stage. This is the space where musical theatre takes centre stage. From unforgettable backstage stories with incredible special guests to insights from my life and my theatre journey. We're leaving it all on the mic every single week, so let's jump in. Hi guys, welcome back to Call to Stage with me, Amber Davies. Now, the last time I was with this specific person, I was drunk in a box at the Olivier's. It's the incredible David Hunter.
Sober as ever.
You weren't drinking?
I don't drink.
No, you don't?
Yeah, very boring. Yeah.
I felt like I said, oh, go on, have a glass. And you're like, I've got kids.
You were getting the producer drunk, weren't you? Shot after shot.
Shock horror. But it's so nice to see you.
You too. Nice to see you sober. Are you sober?
I'm sober.
Good news.
Surprised. Yeah, I am sober. It's 12, give it a few
Yeah, why
hours.
not? Yeah, I'll stay after this. Yeah.
Pick any role you've ever played, your favourite one.
Okay.
Have you got a specific pre-show ritual?
Only that I just try and chill out as much as possible because I find it also stressful.
Do
as I
you?
think we all do. I mean, you must find this with everyone coming in. Do you find, we're all terrified? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, at the start, but do you feel like it becomes a job quite soon?
Yeah, it does. That's the thing. Those kind of early moments.
Stages.
So stressful, so scary, judging every moment. And then, I suppose that's why you like a long runner, isn't it? Because you settle in, you go, I know what works.
Yeah.
But usually early on, and even into the run, I'm just thinking, I want to chill out.
Yeah.
So I get some John Mayer on.
Okay.
Really chilled music. Nice cup of tea.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And just chill. Anything I can do to chill. I might pop around and visit a few people and hang out.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to chill me out and make me feel like I walk on stage with a song in my heart.
Oh, and it's nice as well to not think about what you're just about to do.
I think we get so obsessed about it, don't we? Because you get to know every little tiny detail.
Yeah.
So I think just to take yourself, you can get so obsessed with the whole thing and things start to really annoy you.
Yeah.
Things you didn't even notice early in the run, suddenly you're going, oh, that fly was a bit late.
Yeah.
The sound's not right tonight.
Yeah.
When it's like, none of it matters.
No, it doesn't.
We just get so obsessed because we do it 8 times a week for
a
year. I mean, you're going to get a little bit.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it?
It's mad. It's too much is the reality. Change it.
Sometimes I'll have like word anxiety because I'm like, it's inhumane to say a line.
Yeah.
Repeat a line that many times. And I start to think, does that make sense?
Well, because you
line?
get into autopilot, don't you? Of like, if this just comes out of my mouth 8 times a week. And then one day it doesn't. And your brain just goes,
yeah.
We had loads, I'm sure you wouldn't mind me saying, but Matt Henry and Kinky Boots just had this moment for a while where he just blanked on this scene and he would run around the corner, like from nowhere. So he'd be off stage and having a nice time and chatting and doing it for the, 500th, 700th time. And he'd charge on stage and just go, Charlie. And he just stopped. And we were like, and we've all done it. I've done it on top of that, like big bits of set where you suddenly face with the audience and go, I don't know what it is.
No idea.
And you've said it hundreds of times. But I think, as soon as you don't trust the autopilot, as soon as you go, do I know this line?
Yeah.
No is the answer.
Or what does that line mean? Because it meant something at the start.
Yeah, didn't we talk about this line?
Didn't we discover this in rehearsals?
8 years ago. Yeah, it was really magic that. Now it's just gobbledygook.
Yeah, gobbledygook. When did you discover like your love for this industry? How old were you?
I think I was late-ish. I was kind of 16, 17.
Oh, wow.
Until that point, I wanted to be a cartoonist. I wanted to draw comics and I wanted to work on Wallace and Gromit. That's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
I loved it. I was always designing characters and all my teachers would let me draw if I finished my work and this, that, and the other. And I did it forever. And then at sort of 16, I picked up a guitar and I started writing songs and finding it really therapeutic and lovely. And then girls started fancying me for playing guitar.
Okay,
and I thought, this is better,
I see the vision.
Yeah. And people started clapping. I was like, oh, this is nice. When I'm drawing at home, no one claps. Like, no one.
Yeah.
Not even my mum. She hated it. No, I'm joking. But playing guitar. And I think I enjoyed the time. I think I was quite a quiet kid drawing away on my own and kind of found some confidence through it and found, some popularity through it really from my peers and people at college suddenly were like, I remember there was a girl came up to me when I was in sixth form and just started playing songs and stuff. And she was like, she was a bit kind of, hi, how's it going? And I was like, yeah, good. So when did you move to the school? And I said, Jenny, I've been in your maths class for 5 years. Like no one knew I was alive. So I found myself, I think, and a community to
are
it.
you naturally an introvert?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. I don't like leaving my house.
That's really interesting because I feel like people think that to be successful or to have any type of career in this industry, you have to be like big and brash and outgoing. And you're not.
It's not that at all. I love the art of it. Like that's what attracted me to it. It wasn't some sense. It wasn't even, despite saying I liked being clapped, it wasn't about showing off to any great degree. I just loved making stuff and writing songs and crafting them. But it's a bit like anything. I think people do have an assumption. I hate when people say, well, you're an artist, you should have thick skin. It's like, well, why?
No, it doesn't work.
No one
like
gets
that.
into it going like, well, I've got thick skin, so maybe I should be an actor.
Yeah.
You do it because you love acting.
You love it.
Yeah, and then suddenly it's like, well, you should just be used to people, critiquing your every move. And actually, I find that really hard because you just pour so much into it. You must feel it with this and all the work you do. But like, you put so much into it, and then you release it into the world, and everyone's got an opinion on it.
I know.
It's terrifying.
I know. It's each to their own as well.
It's just
Do you know
opinions.
what I mean?
Yeah,
It is
it's like,
opinions.
everyone's got an opinion. Everyone's got a bum. I don't need to see them all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we've all got an opinion. And there's things I don't like that I know that are fantastic and that other people love. But it's hard because I think, again, when you're doing a show, you're so passionate about it. And you become so obsessed with it that people critiquing it, as they should, feels very personal. It's hard. It's really hard.
It is hard. And you trained at Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts.
I did. It was a vague training.
A vague. Was it?
Well, it just wasn't very good. I look back at it and go, and it's nice now because I've done some work. You can go, yeah, I don't think that was great. Whereas when you leave, you're going, yeah, it's amazing. I've learned so much. I know everything. But I wasted years and years and years there.
Oh,
of
did
like,
you?
yeah, when I think of the voice classes, they were just nonsense.
Or like semi-supine and things like
yeah,
that.
we just lay on the floor and breathe,
Breathe.
for like 3 years. And I look back and now having, from just working, discovered my voice and what it needs and what it does and all those things and it failing and recovering and all those things. You go, oh, I learned nothing in 3 years. They just filled the time out. The thing I loved about drama school is I was able to meet a couple of directors who directed me every year. Adam Penford, particularly, who's like the artistic director at Nottingham Playhouse now, and he's brilliant. And I got to meet him and I worked with him. And that's when I was like, oh, I'm really learning here. This is a smart guy.
Yeah.
And then he put me in a show after the thing. So he gave me an opportunity as well. So that was the useful thing.
Where did you get brought up?
Warrington.
Oh, so you are from Liverpool?
Yeah, give or take, yeah. And I think that's why I went. I mean, I love that it was Paul McCartney's school, Lipper.
Aww.
So I love that.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about anything. I mean, when I meet sort of 18-year-olds now who know, oh, maybe GSA for this, maybe Arts Ed for this, I didn't know anything.
Okay.
No one from my town, my school had ever been to drama school. It wasn't a thing. I had no one to ask. But I loved Paul McCartney and the Beatles. And it was close by. I don't think I could have coped moving to London at 18. And it's amazing now. I look at these, these kids who are hitting 18 and they know, I guess it's because of social media and stuff. They know so much. They're so, they just know it, they get it, and they're so brave.
I know.
I couldn't have coped with that. I was very lucky that I could go half an hour away from my mum's house really and just nip back every weekend. No, I lived there, but I found it really hard. I used to go home every weekend and then my mum would drive me back and I'd have a cry listening to Coldplay.
The world was against you.
I just found it really hard. But it was,
Homeboy. You don't sound
really.
like you're from Liverpool.
No, I'm in between Liverpool and Manchester, so it's sort of
Northern.
I'm just general northern. Nice northern lad.
So you, correct me if I'm wrong, debuted in One Man, Two Governors.
Yeah, that was the show that Adam put me in, that director.
Okay.
So he called me, someone dropped out because it wasn't what they thought it was going to be.
Okay.
And he said, so he went through his phone, he picked out 4 or 5 people he thought could do it, step into this role and understudy one of the governors. And I came down to London, I was still living up north, auditioned on a Wednesday, recalled for Nick Heitner, the National Theatre's artistic director at the time. Yeah. On the Friday and then started on the Monday. And then I was with this like 5-star hit, James Corden, the whole works at National Theatre, went on tour, went into the West End. So it was this huge thing that just, and I just kind of got to sit there and watch really. I did very little. It was just an amazing learning.
It was like perfect timing.
It was gorgeous. And I just missed out like the week before. I'd auditioned 9 times for Rock of Ages and not got it.
Okay.
And was like, oh, when's it ever going to happen? And then
Like
I was in a week I was living in London all of a sudden. I was like, oh, I'm moving out. Right, off I go.
I love that you started as ensemble and cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the pressure of a cover, is it like torturous?
Yeah, and I never went on in that job. I never went on once.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, because it was a play, so they could kind of get through it a little better. Like there was a day they were all like, you know, they were all just getting through it, but you could, because it wasn't like singing some top notes. Obviously in a musical, you're getting on, aren't you, if you're a cover? So I never went on in like, I think it was like 9 months. And I didn't mind because I'm not sure I was entirely ready for it. I was just happy to sit and learn, and I pushed chairs on and off, and I sat in the audience some nights as a plant and watched it hundreds of times. Just the first time.
It sounds like the perfect job.
It was lovely, and they paid us really well, and I was at the National, and I was showing off. It was great.
I love that. When did you, as an introvert, when did you decide I want to go in for the leading parts?
God, I think in truth, the only reason I've ended up being, you know, a lead actor in that way is because I can't dance. So Rock of Ages, for example, was my first kind of major audition. It was when it was originally coming over. And I went in and did sort of 4 rounds because I think they were like, who is this guy? I've been in a band for years, kind of after drama school. And they were like, who is this? Can he even do it? So they kept bringing me in to kind of test me out and just push my voice and see how hard they could go on it. Until eventually we did a dance call and they went, well, he can't dance, so it's the lead or nothing. So I think, and sadly it was nothing.
Has your dance improved over the years?
No, I can't dance.
Really?
Oh, at all.
Well, like no rhythm?
I can move. I'm a mover. But if they say come in for a dance call, I'm like, you're wasting your time. Okay. I mean, my worst experience ever of my life probably was going into a Mamma Mia dance call. Okay. To the point where I went up to them towards the end and went, I think we get it now. Can I go home? Yeah. Because I was like, I can't do this. But I could tell them that. It really annoyed me when I was coming in for dance calls. I was like, guys, I can't dance.
I actually can't dance.
Please don't waste your time.
What about a movement call?
Yeah. I mean, I was in Kinky Boots. There was a bit of a thing at the end. Yeah. You know, I can move. Babe, I've got some rhythm.
You have got it.
But I am not a dancer.
Not like technically trained.
No. And if you're doing a dance call, you know, they teach it really quick.
Yeah.
I just cannot. It's not a language I speak. So like they're going, I think dancers always know. It's like, okay, well, I'm leaning. If my weight's here, I'm probably doing this. Whereas I'm like, what's my right arm doing there?
Yeah.
I'm rubbish.
Like coordination.
Oh, I'm rubbish at it. This isn't all connected.
But no one can really sing like you. So
this is true.
I'm just going to name a couple of things. Time's going by so quickly.
Oh, sorry, I'm waffling on, yeah.
You did Once as Guy.
Yes.
The Who's Tommy. Songs for a New World. The Hired Man. I want to talk about Kinky Boots.
Okay.
Audition process for Charlie.
Yeah.
Original cast.
No, second. So Killian Donnelly and then me.
Then you.
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Did you have your eye on that role then?
No, the only role I've ever had my eye on is Guy in Once because I loved the film when I was younger. It was the first CD I ever had in my first ever car. Like, I loved that film and that soundtrack. And Glenn Hansard, who wrote it all, I'm still a big fan. In fact, I'm playing a song of his at my friend's child's christening at the weekend. We just love it. Yeah, it's lovely.
Would you say Once, sorry, just because you spoke about Once, was your break?
I guess it was because I started as a standby. So I was there for 6 months. In fact, they offered me standby originally and I turned it down because I didn't want to do a year of it. Yeah. And then I did it for 6 months and then took over the role and I got to take over it. So it was that kind of, I think that little bit of luck and that little break that pushed you into a new place. So it's like, I've now played a lead. Yeah. And so people take you a bit more seriously, I think, when you walk in a room, you know.
When I think about Once, I do like picture your name.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what? And I love that. I always wanted that. I remember saying to people, if my name was always associated with Once and vice versa, I'd be so pleased because I do think it represents me so well. Yeah. Whacking a guitar and screaming out those big sort of folk rock numbers. That's me.
That is you.
Yeah. Whereas maybe other shows I go, yeah, I'm kind of a bit of that, but that's me. Yeah. You know? I mean, I'm dressed as Guy today.
Yeah, you are.
Here I am.
When you're a standby, you're not in the build. You are in the building.
Yeah. I was. I think sometimes you don't have to be. It depends on the show.
You could be in this vicinity.
Yeah. But I was in my little dress. It's the best job I've ever had still. Because there was a day where we were in there. There was loads of standbys in that show. So I was in my own dressing room and I'd be watching Netflix or whatever, a few snacks. And then I went upstairs to the rehearsal room where we had a load of guitars and drums and stuff. We used to play and jam. We were playing FIFA. We ordered a Domino's to stage door. It was like a 2-show day. And we were playing FIFA and we were watching some football on TV as well. And I just turned to Jamie Cameron, my mate, and went, we're getting paid for this. Yeah. It was wonderful. And then just occasionally you'd go on for this like dream role I had. It's like, wow, I'm on.
And did you ever get thrown on?
Yeah, loads, yeah.
Did you?
I got thrown on the interval and all that stuff, you know.
Oh, I love
And I
that.
was gutted because I had a hot cup of tea ready to go, and that's my big memory.
Oh.
I was literally like, can David Hunter come to the stage?
Do you know, I want to know, as a standby,
Mm.
because I just think like swing standby cover like are like the heroes because I don't have that brain.
Sure, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
don't think I do.
like my sister has a swing brain and
Right.
I'm infatuated with her. Like, how do you do it? Tell me, like, because I'm quite an organized person.
Yeah.
Did you find it difficult as a standby to discover your version of Guy because you don't play him as regularly?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's just never quite comfortable. It's always a little bit scary, you know. So I would run my lines every day as part of
Okay.
like a routine. I just go through every scene because it's not in your body. That
Yeah.
autopilot we were talking about, it's not there.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was particularly scary. I had 2 weeks rehearsal to be dropped in, and then on the first day, Brilliant Deck, who was playing Guy at the time, was off ill, and I just had to go on. I hadn't met the cast. I'd rehearsed it all with the standbys. So
Isn't
suddenly
that
I was on
always
stage.
the case?
Oh yeah, always. It's
Isn't
mad.
it?
Everyone's got that story, haven't
Yeah.
they? But obviously in that as well, you're kind of leading the band. So I was setting the tempos and stuff, and you could see them being a bit. And I was nervous. I mean, my fingertips were sweating. I was just like kind of trying to play these songs, and you could see them kind of going, pulling me back or
Yeah.
whatever. I'd never met him. So weird.
You've
but
chopped
amazing.
like 20 minutes off the show.
Yeah, exactly. Right, early train, everyone. Get into bed.
Sorry, had plans.
All the best. Yeah. Dinner.
But that is difficult.
Yeah,
that
was
is
tough.
I bow down.
Yeah, but it's good. I think it's good to go through those experiences
yeah.
and just kind of, tick them off.
So for Kinky Boots,
Yes.
this original, right?
No, the one after Killian Donnelly. I wish you'd listen, Amber.
Sorry,
Amber, I wish you'd listen. If you're going to invite me here.
Sorry, I thought we were talking about. Sorry. What I was going to say was,
Yeah.
you love the Adelphi. You've been there twice.
Yeah, the
I've been
Delphi.
there. I've been there too. I wonder if we had the same dressing room.
Oh, maybe. I've been in a few.
Which one were you?
Oh, what they call 10 something.
I was in. So say
So there's a ground
Lucy's
floor with the
floor.
posh one. Yeah, the double one.
I was the one on top.
Above that?
I was above the.
That's
posh
the
one.
Charlie Price one. Yeah. All right. Did you get my note?
No. What did it say? I just got the cash though.
Okay, good. That's where I left that cash. It's my deposit.
There's always a few shows that come to town that like make a noise, and like Kinky Boots was definitely that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it had such a long stay, really. It did so well.
And I always feel like you always either want to be the first or the second cast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Like-
it's still quite buzzy.
Do you know what I mean?
I think Killian did all the hard work in truth because is it going to be any good? Is it going to find an audience? And by the time I took over in that first year,
Yeah.
it was really flying and had a real following. The audiences, I mean, it was packed. And I did it for 2 years and it was packed.
So you did
for 2
do it
years.
for 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was too long. I nearly died.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. It was so hard.
Really?
And I started it when my eldest child, Rufus, was 8 weeks old. So I didn't sleep. I was,
My God.
I mean, I wish, in fact, if it was me now, I would have been braver about saying, could we lower that song
Yeah.
a little bit just on certain days or whatever? Because it was an option. Because people have done it on Broadway. Oh gosh, is he called Brendan Urie? Is that his name? Lead singer of Panic at the Disco,
Right.
who sings like Into the Unknown. You know that version of that.
Yeah.
He had it taken down when he did it on Broadway, and I was like, it never occurred to me to ask.
Yeah.
And I should have asked.
Just to give you that help.
I was exhausted. I in truth, it was too high a sing for me. I could do it, but I think
Didn't enjoy
yeah,
it.
you know the feeling. If something's like right on the edge of what you can do,
Yeah.
I was stressed, man. It sent me to therapy. Like after 2 years, I was like, I'm scared of singing. Like I'm worried about it because 8 times a week, I told myself,
I can't.
you're
do it.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so I held
Or
back.
This might go wrong.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And in front of those 1,500 people every night, you fall to your knees and put your fist in the air and hope to God this note comes out of your mouth and that it stays going. And those are tough, tough songs, you know. And as I say, that's a long fatigue of 2 years. No one's ever done it for 2 years straight, like aside from myself. And there's good reason why. And as I say, with no sleep, because I started with an 8-week-old, Rufus, and I left when my daughter was 3 weeks old. So I went through the whole scale.
David.
And Tara did at home, obviously, it was a wild time.
I think it's really lovely that you recognise that it was a struggle, you know, because I think some people think that this industry is all tits and teeth.
Yeah, big time.
it can break a person.
Oh yeah, and it nearly did break me in truth. And I look at other people, and I'm so conscious of it because I see other, leading men and women, and think they're just flying through it. Like I would watch you, for example, and think you've not got a care in the world. You're just knocking it out and smashing it, and all those things. And I see, some people are like peers of mine, Killian and Ollie Tomset, and people that you just go, God, they just find it so easy. And I know the reality is that we're all feeling how I feel, which is sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes you don't have a voice. It is I've got a little bit of a cold now, and it's gonna knock a bit off what you've got.
Yeah.
And if you sing on it 8 times a week, it's gonna get tired. And
it is.
It's
a
hard.
muscle.
It's a muscle, exactly. And you wouldn't, if someone was like, oh, my knee's a bit off, you wouldn't go, marathon?
Yeah.
You go, you should
Another
probably not
one,
run a
another
marathon. Another one? One tomorrow? And two next day?
Yeah. Literally, exactly that.
It's tough, man. It's a tough gig. I think it's just the repetitive nature of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So unless you're super comfortable and it's right in your pocket of like, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's just right in my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinky Boots, it just wasn't for me. Waitress was. That's where my sweet spot was like, I can do this.
Would you ever do a 2-year contract again?
Never.
So yeah.
Yeah, big time. I'd be really strict myself, even if I was tempted, because they ask you after 6 months, don't they? And you're going,
I'm ready.
loving it.
Yeah.
I can do another 18 months. I would never, because and like I say, even if I was really like, I'm really loving it, maybe it would be great. I'd be like, don't do it. That fatigue over 2 years, I think, is mega.
I kind of said to myself before I even graduated, before I even knew what this industry was about, I'd always said to myself, I would never do a job for longer than a year.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Yeah.
But now, only because now I've seen it with my own eyes, people struggle.
Yeah. Can't do it that much for 2 years. I just think
not to a good standard.
No, that's it. Not to your best.
Not to your best
gonna
standard.
start. I look at pictures of like the leaving party of Kinky Boots, and I'm like, God, I feel sorry for little Dave.
Yeah.
I look so like skinny and like kind of tired, and just like I was like just white as a sheet. It's just like, this guy needs to stop. And I did. I remember phoning my agent sort of 3 months before we finished and saying, and crying and being like, if I thought there was a way for me to walk away from this and not look bad, as a professional, then I absolutely would. I'm just terrified of going to work, which is just not a nice thing to do 8 times a week. Yeah, exactly.
Also, you mentioned that you had, by the end of the contract, 2 kids, 2 wonderful children.
That's them.
What is the difference between not being a dad and being a dad in this industry?
Everything.
Is it?
Yeah. In some ways, really good, because it kind of takes the pressure off you. When like if you get an audition through and you think, right, I should dedicate every waking hour to this audition to make sure it's perfect. You can't do that. So it makes you kind of go, oh, I'll spend an hour on it while the kids are asleep or they're at school or whatever it might be. And then I have to park it because someone has to pick them up and cook them dinner and bathe them and put them to bed or whatever it is. So it does help you just to kind of keep things in its place and not get obsessed. Because I used to get quite obsessed, I think, over auditions and stuff. And then I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's helpful. And it reprioritizes your life. I think it makes you realize that this show isn't everything. It's just a part of my life, and that's okay. Because I think early in his career, we're so desperate to get it that it has to become your whole life. And that's an amazing part of life as well. I loved that part of my life when I was just rocking into work and being like, I'm part of this cast and this is my identity.
This is all I've got to think about.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I do miss that feeling of like, I'll rock up, get up at midday and leg it in.
Yeah.
Because whatever time I get in at night now, it's usually sort of midnight from doing a show. I'm up at 7 with the kids, no matter what. And the dog. We've got a dog now.
Oh, not the dog.
Just torturing myself with all these things. But and now, in truth, now they've started school. The last show I did, Time Traveler's Wife, was the first I've done where they're both at school.
Yeah.
And it's led me to the decision of like, I can't do another show. Like I'm done.
Are you?
Yeah. Certainly for the foreseeable. So like, I'll do the odd thing, like little runs maybe, or a one-nighter or whatever. Yeah. I can't do a show anymore, like because I would pick them up from school at 3:30 and I'd leave about 4:15.
So you wouldn't spend any time?
Wouldn't say I'm getting at midnight. They were up and out to school. We're working all day Saturday. So unless there was a job share type thing, or like I say, a short run, if it meant going away, I'll do a month here or whatever. And it's like, I'll miss you, but I'll be back. And then you'll get full-time me again. But yeah, Time Traveler's Wife, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I miss them and they miss me. And that's the thing. They're more conscious now of like,
they're
where's
older.
Dad? Yeah. I mean, when I told Rufus that Time Traveler's Wife was closing early, it was like, it was Christmas. He was buzzing. He loved it. Because he was like, when do you finish this? And I was going like, You think of forever. It's like then.
It's like,
you know.
and as well, it's like, I was going to just say, is there a world where you can take them in? But there isn't.
No, not when they start school. Yeah. When they were younger, it was hard for me in terms of like the energy levels because I was with them all day, very young children, and then going, right, West End show. But when they're at school, you have the downtime, the rest time in the day, but you do not see your children, and I'm not prepared to live like that. And in other ways, you know, my brilliant wife Tara's started a new business and is flying with it, and I think it's very much my turn to go, great, well, I'll be here.
I'll be a dad.
And I'm trying to keep the plate spinning with acting because I love it, you know, and I love doing it.
Yeah.
I just, the months and months.
That's a really brave decision.
Yeah, it's a big one because it's obviously it's all I've ever done, so it's a strange thing. Yeah, it is. And it's what you love. It's why you started showing off as a kid, writing songs for girls you fancied, and it's from 16 to now. I'm 40 this year. You go, well, that's what I've done. I know.
You do not come across like you're 40.
Thank you. Let's use this clip when we're advertising.
For the socials.
Get that on socials. Officially doesn't look 40.
Of course. I mean, look, you've done Waitress. You originated that role.
Originated Waitress.
Yeah, you did Town and Tour.
Yeah.
Henry and Time Traveler's Wife.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Special effects on that was...
Well, you say that.
Go on.
I don't want to whinge, but it's just me taking my clothes on and off.
Was it?
Well, to everyone else, it looks... You didn't see Waitress either, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, I heard this on a podcast the other day with Shoshana Boone.
Excuse me. Do you know why? The 2 times we've been on the same schedule.
We have, that's it.
The 2 times.
Yeah.
Because I was in Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
And then 9 to 5.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's so hard, isn't it? Yeah, bugs are blessed. You don't get to see things. That's the problem, isn't it? And then it's like, well, do you want to come in on a Sunday and watch? It's like, no. I'm at home with these children.
I don't. How would you describe the Waitress experience?
Glorious.
Really?
Glorious. It was perfect. All the little things I've said about different shows or whatever it is, you know, my life was in the right place to really indulge in it. It was my first original, you know, a transfer, but original West End cast. Great cast of people. I loved my role. It was a lovely balance. I could come on, great scene, funny, great song. The songs by Sarah,
like a
great.
Stopper, aren't you?
I just loved it. It was great. There's great songs. You come on and then you go off and have a cup of tea, and you know, Joe Sugg was in it for a while, and Jack McBrayer playing Ogie, and there was so much fun. And we were just next to each other. We just hang out. There was loads of downtime. So I was again tired from the kids at home. Come in, it's like that's all right. I'm only on for a bit in the first half and a bit in the second. But the cast were brilliant and warm and friendly, and I mean, listen, there was every reason not to enjoy it because there was loads of cast changes and the producers were kind of chopping and changing a lot, and it was hard sometimes, all that. But everyone who walked in the building was just a joy. And so we just had a great time, and I loved it. And it's why I was able to go out on tour, which was kind of like, I'm going to be away for, I did a month, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just right on, tagged on the end. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to be away, but then I'll be back. And it just was a way to say goodbye to it because it's the show I was in when COVID cut everything short. So it's nice to go back and have a little run at it. But it's wonderful.
I do think there's something about the Adelphi Theatre as well.
Oh, it's so good.
I think it's got good juju.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Good energy.
Yeah.
Bright windows.
Because Back to the Future, another one, a la Kinky Boots, that's run and run and run, hasn't it? It's just been like, it's landed.
And they're happy buildings.
Yeah.
I know it's weird to say, but like sometimes theatres can be unhappy places.
Yeah, big time. They can.
And it really depends on like where you're at. Like the Savoy's quite dingy.
Yeah, and
dark.
Yeah, and you're kind of in your room going like, okay, we get same with the Apollo actually where we did Time Traveler's Wife.
Dressing rooms under the
That's it. You're a bit dungeony, aren't they? And it's all a bit because the thing is as well when they do a nice refurb for the theatre, they don't bother with the dressing rooms because no one's seeing them. No. So we just kind of hovel in with the mould. Do you know what I mean? And put one light and it goes kick.
But where the Adelphi is beautiful.
Oh, especially in that room we shared.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Did you enjoy Time Traveler's Wife?
No.
Did you not? And that was the kids.
Only kids. It was a load of things. It was the first one I'd done when the kids were at school, so there's no fault of the show at all. The show was good. I think there were some things with it that I wish had changed, which, you know, as with every show, but people did love it, and I'm so glad they did. Like, it found a real fan base, which was lovely. Not enough of one, but it found one. Okay. But for me, I changed my costume 39 times a show. So the entire show really was about changing my clothes. Like I felt like I was off stage changing my clothes more than I was on stage doing the thing I like doing, which again at the beginning was quite fun. It's you know, But actually after a month, 2 months, you're going, and on a 2-show day, I'm changing my clothes nearly 80 times. It was just a lot of that.
So really, you were the magic trick.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, the illusions were great. And from out front, the idea is that they look effortless, but they weren't effortless.
No.
But the thing is, then you kind of feel like, I don't even think people realize what I'm doing. I felt very much in that, actually, that no one could see the work that was going into it. It wasn't visible, wasn't seen. And actually, if you follow people around backstage, a number of characters, Joe included, and the whole cast were doing a lot of legwork to make it magic that is unseen and unappreciated, which, we are doing it for the appreciation, aren't we?
Yeah.
You want to feel like people go, whoa, he's putting a shift there. Because
Yeah.
it was the opposite of Waitress, which was not too much work and a load of appreciation versus a load of work and kind of like, yeah, it was all right.
Yeah.
You go,
Didn't change my life.
that's the thing. And I know that people have records for like the most 5-star reviews, and I think we must have got the most 3-star reviews you've ever seen in your life. It was I was just so consistent, 3 off everyone. Never got a 1, never got a 5. Just it was good. It was all right. We enjoyed it. And I think when you're then changing your clothes 80 times and going, it's all right, guys, because we made a okay bit of theatre.
Yeah.
It feels like, that was a lot, so. So I think
I'm
that's
not at
it.
home with my kids.
And I'm not. That's the thing. And it wasn't about it. There was loads about the show that I loved, and the cast were great, and I loved loads of the music. And there's a great effects bit we did, and I'm so proud of the album as well. I love it, and it was so well put together by the gang. It was brilliant. So loads of it was brilliant, but the overwhelming thing was I'm not seeing my kids, and I'm just dragging jeans on and off, and I had to wear Doc Martens with no socks, so just dragging them on. My sweaty and
I think that's like
sore
new
feet.
ick.
Yeah,
Doc
big
Martens
time.
without socks.
And then running on stage, Doc Martens. I think if you
That's
watch
a
that
lot.
show knowing he's not wearing any socks, it'd make you sad.
Yeah, it would.
Give you the ick. Everyone would leave. But like,
3 stars.
Yeah, 3 stars, no socks.
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about a stock?
Yeah. Forgot about that.
You wrote it and it starred you.
Yeah, egomaniac. Is that where we're going with this?
We're going narcissistic.
Yeah. Complete vanity project.
Where did you how did this happen?
So during lockdown, I was like, I think, what if I wrote a like kind of one-man show or something similar that could work as the theatres reopen? There's that sort of very small window of time where we did sort of social distance audiences.
Yeah.
And then even the stuff on stage that has to be social distance or no contact. So I thought, what if it's just me and like a load of mannequins? And I thought, what if a stressed out father of 2 wished for a day off and then accidentally turned the whole world into mannequins, and like his wish was granted and everyone turned into mannequins. So he's there with his family, but they're all mannequins, and he gets this day off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what would happen from there? And then I just started scribbling. It was late at night, actually. I was doing this. No one scribbles anymore.
No.
Come on. I was doing this late at night, and I suddenly was like, oh yeah, a guy with his family have turned into mannequins by accident. What would happen? And I kind of went loads of ideas really quickly. I went, this is it. I can do this. So I started writing it. Said very early on, I don't want to spend years doing this. I'm not. Come on. 4 years later, we put it on for a night. But and it's developed into this great show. I'm really proud of it.
And do you think there's potential?
Yeah, they want to do it. We've had producers. Lambert Jackson have been producing it so far, and there's lots of
That's
various
already a
talks.
class.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
I love working with them. They're so brilliant. And we put it on for a night in the West End at the Duchess, and it went down great. And there's work to be done. And there's stuff I want to change and improve or whatever. And I mean, God, the privilege of putting in front of an audience and seeing what worked, and that ticked a major thing for me. It was like, this has been in my head for years, and we got it. It's fully orchestrated by Nick Finlow, like orchestrated Time Traveler's Wife, and worked on Back to the Future. And he did all the music. It was wonderful. So we got to do a great version of it. And there is a future for it if I can be bothered to leave my kids, basically.
And does that open the door to create? So are you going to be behind the script rather than on stage?
Maybe, yeah. I just love creating stuff. So like we won't get into it now, but I design loads of merch for people, which I can't talk about because I sign contracts.
Okay,
But me and my business partners, we design merch for these massive people in America at the minute, and it's wonderful. And so I love making stuff. So whether it's a musical, or I wrote a book with Lucy, or we, I wrote this musical, or I released music. I just love making stuff, and I'd happily do that forever. And it means I can be at home.
I just think that you're not a one-trick pony. You have so many doors that are open.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, you are.
That's why and again, it's not that thing of like, people think of wants to think of me, and I kind of want as well in this, why do I care what people think? But if they were, I'd be like, oh, Dave, he makes stuff. He creates stuff that surprises us a bit. And I hope the people who saw Stuck, and I'm sure it did, there were surprises along the way. They went, and there was twists and turns. And I want to surprise people. I want to bring things out that people go, oh, and like you with this podcast. What a lovely string to your bow. Do you know what I mean? Just like, and now I'm doing this. You must love creating, right?
Yeah, I do.
It's a lovely thing. I think it's good for the soul.
I can just see it. I can just see you being a full-time storyteller, director, whatever.
Yeah, I'd love that.
I can see it in my mind.
I do just need to probably just decide where I'm going to put my time and go, that's what I'm doing now.
Do.
But yeah, it is a time of change for me.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you want to listen to David answering some of your questions, sign up to our Patreon now at Call to Stage. Thank you so much.
Thank you.